Do you want one, Patricia?
Okay, we're going.
You want one? I would.
3, I'll get 2.
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to pass out Bibles.
I'm gonna need this later.
Get 3 pieces.
How many do we get? You can get 2.
Fine.
I'm so sorry. Thank you.
And Dylan, you said you did need a Bible?
Yeah. Guido!
Where's
Guido!
the eggs?
I don't have that. They're in here. Okay, so,
Guido!
if
My name.
do you guys want waters, I'm guessing?
My name. Guido! There.
Pass out these waters, and then we'll get started.
Just one.
Here you go.
These cookies are so good.
I know, man, they're so good.
Okay, so me and Amanda were in the car yesterday.
Yeah, how about that?
You want a water, Patricia?
I'm eating way too much sugar today.
Okay, I can help you.
Okay, so everyone while you're eating, turn to Matthew 8:23 through 27.
I call reading.
I'm gonna beat you. Matthew, what?
8:23 through 27.
Matthew
8:23.
Yeah.
I got it too.
Whoever gets it first, go ahead.
I got it.
Now when he got into a boat.
Now when he got into a boat, his disciples followed him, and suddenly a great tempest arose on the sea, so that the boat was covered with the waves, but he was asleep. And his disciples said, "Come to him," and awoke him, saying, "Lord, save us, we are perishing." But he said to them, "Why are you fearful, O ye of little faith?" That's my favorite saying, I like it. Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. So the man marveled, saying, "Who can this be, that even the wind and the sea obey him?"
Okay, so this is a very popular
That's my favorite
story
saying.
of Jesus calming the waters and saying, "Peace, be still," counting Mark. And today we're going to talk about how this series, this whole discipleship project series, this is our 3rd lesson, and the first series of lessons is about becoming a disciple, how to become a disciple, why we're being discipled. And this lesson specifically is we're going to learn to trust God and understand that all of the disciples go through storms. Okay. Just like the disciples in the Bible went through storms, we're going to go through spiritual storms that some people just say is life, right? We're going to go through life. Yeah. So, before we go any further, I want to read you a story. And this is the story of Matt Sutter, and he was a 19-year-old.
Do we need our books?
Yeah.
See how smart I am?
Where's Larissa?
I don't think she's feeling good.
She wasn't here yesterday. Here, I'm gonna try to
get your book and pass it down.
Smarter.
You got your book?
I don't know.
Alright, so I'll read this story. I'll read you the story as we. No, Dylan, stop. We're in the middle of class. Please don't be throwing stuff at the trash.
This is empty.
Alright, a 19-year-old, Matt Sutter, stood on a sofa struggling to close the living room window as rain and wind pummeled his grandmother's
Is
mobile
this
home.
yours, Mike?
Shh. Just get yours and pass it down. It got louder and louder, like 10 military jets coming at us, Sutter said. Suddenly there was lots of pressure inside the house. The front and back doors that were both locked came off their hinges and blew out. I looked at my grandma in the kitchen, and the walls were moving, the roof was moving, the floor was moving just like Jell-O. I could feel the whole trailer tipping over. A lamp smashed against Sutter's head, rendering him unconscious. Then without warning, the twister sucked him through the collapsing trailer walls. The 150-mile-per-hour winds hurled him into raging blackness and tossed him through the air. When Sutter finally landed and came to, he was in the soft grass of an open field. Though dazed and bleeding, he suffered no serious injuries. Sutter said, "The weatherman came on TV and said, 'There's a tornado.' When he told us, 'If you're in a mobile home in the area, take shelter.' We ignored that." Later, the National Weather Service estimated that Sutter had traveled 1,307 feet, the longest distance a tornado has ever carried anyone who has survived to tell about it.
Actually, tornadoes aren't as severe as you think. Actually, they actually carry like a sleeping baby, I guess. Like,
They actually?
I don't know. I read it in a book once, but.
My
It's neat.
Hey, I was
my
just. Do
uncle's
we need
mom
pins?
got their whole house destroyed. I tornado.
I thought you were on top of it. Yesterday, you were on top of it like this, but man.
Who got their house destroyed?
My uncle's
Can you
Mom.
press it for me, Dylan?
Yeah.
Billy Joe's husband.
Really? Wow. Okay, so we're gonna open up with a discussion. We're talking about storms. So this guy, he flew 1,300 feet.
That's like half a mile.
Not quite. Almost.
Like, yeah,
Sort
almost.
of. But that's probably, I calculated
Are you
this
gonna eat that?
earlier, 4 football fields, a little more than 4 football fields. Can you imagine flying 4 football fields and living to tell about it? That is incredible. So, what type of storms do you guys face?
Like, temptation. What do you mean, like
Okay.
spiritual or physical?
Any type of storm.
Or if it's like tornadoes, twisted striking.
Well, not that type of physical, like.
Oh my!
What type of storms do teens face in daily life?
Virginity.
Absolutely. It's a battle to stay afloat.
Drugs.
Say what?
Drugs?
Drugs is a storm?
Oh, wait.
And more like a temptation.
Oh, you're on this one.
I was
So you're saying that's a way they cope with this storm?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, that's good.
I heard a question wrong.
So, yeah, so other storms, what's a storm that teens face?
Which way to go in life?
Say what?
Which way to go?
So direction in their life, okay?
Storms, you mean like difficulties?
Yeah, trials, tribulation,
Depression, anger.
depression, and
What are you doing?
Family problems.
family
She's
problems.
ripping the
okay?
napkin to pieces.
Sexual problems?
Say what?
Sexual problems?
Same thing.
Sexual problems? Yeah. Yeah, so trials, storms, things I think of is, like you said, family problems.
What is it?
Well, some people go through like.
Relationship issues,
Yeah, commitment.
commitment.
Submission.
Submission, that's a good one.
So there's a lot of, anything that you go through that's hard in life can be labeled a storm or a battle.
I'm trying to think of one of those.
So, as an illustration, I need one volunteer.
That'd be me.
Okay, I saw your hand first. You're gonna enjoy it.
Yes! Look at Ethan! Hard-boiled egg.
Oh, man.
Oh goodness!
I'm just gonna eat that?
No, I'm gonna chunk it at you.
Okay.
So, we're
I swear.
Bye-bye,
gonna
Cody.
play a game. Do not drop it because it's gonna crack all over you.
Alright.
Okay?
Throw it to him. See if he catches it.
Okay, no, I don't want it to splatter all over your clothes.
Okay.
Do it.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? Hurry up.
Ah!
Okay.
Are you? Yes, this is a hard-boiled egg.
No, it's not.
You know how hard this is?
Slide it and find out then.
Okay.
Alright, let's find out.
So, here. Alright, so I'll
Keep
throw it
trying.
in. Don't crack, break it. You're gonna get it.
Ooh, boy. It's hot.
Go back to him. Do the gloves!
Okay. Oh!
I'm invincible.
Okay, let's try it again. Okay, so, hey, there's no need for that, no need, okay.
You break the door!
So,
Eat that egg. There.
here, let's clean that up real quick.
Eat it!
Patricia, could you go get the broom?
Not nice. It hit my thumb, that's the reason why it cracked.
Okay, so, alright, go ahead and sit down.
Yeah.
So
Should have been Landon.
maybe I chunked that a little hard.
You volunteered.
I volunteer
I'm
on
glad I
the
did it.
Thank you, Colby, for your volunteering.
You're welcome.
The point is.
Thank you for hitting me with a
That
egg.
boiled egg busted.
No!
I mean, he's like
Hey,
trying to get
can I
the
do you have any more of those?
Say
Trying to
what?
get the
More of those?
No, that's
No, but trying to get the
You
shell.
have
boiled
more,
eggs.
right? I got
Now it smells like boiled eggs in here.
So the point is,
I like that smell.
when you started, maybe you had some context clues or whatever,
Boiled eggs.
but you didn't know whether that was a real egg or a boiled egg.
Oh, really? I can feel it in my hand.
Yeah, but you weren't supposed to know. Maybe you realized it after I threw it to you. But and we can we'll just leave the rest of that for after class.
I'll get it.
I'll get it.
Don't eat it.
So done.
Get on.
So the point is that sometimes, see, I knew that it was a hard-boiled egg, right? So I knew that it wasn't gonna make. It made more mess than I thought I was gonna make.
Can I go?
represent God?
Yeah. So how do I represent God? Tell me about it.
Because you see that the egg is not really going to do any serious damage, but when the person looks at it and they don't know it's a hard-boiled egg, they think you can kind of compare that to
I'm gonna
life.
get you, Isaac. I'm gonna get you.
Kind of compare it to life.
Yeah.
How a person looks at a situation, thinks it's going to hurt them, but God knows the truth behind
Okay.
it. That's not going to hurt
And that is exactly what we were supposed to get out of the illustration.
I did.
Because, that's what happens is God will throw something at you and you're like, oh no, I can't handle this. It's going to make a huge mess everywhere. But we don't realize is God knows it's a hard-boiled egg, just like Landon was saying. So the point is that we need to trust God with the things that He does throw at us. So
I trusted you.
someone share a story of maybe a storm that they went through. Maybe it's a broken family, trouble at school, depression.
Well, Isaac,
Yes.
what page is it?
It's on page 10. Page 10.
Alright, go ahead.
Okay, so my dad one time, he came in home drunk, and I guess he was asleep. He woke me up. Wait, no, that's not the story, it's the wrong one. But, I was going to go see my mom in McAllister when she's in rehab. And my stepdad, Rudy, me and Kim went to had to go bathroom. And so we were going to the bathroom, and he just comes out with a bow and just goes, starts hitting us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew God had it, but sometimes I just wonder. So it carries on my faith.
So you wonder why that may have happened to you?
Yeah.
That's a good question. That's a valid question. Because things happen in our life and
We don't understand.
we don't understand.
I got one.
Yeah. What's the storm that you went through?
Turning into drugs.
Okay.
Timothy turning my own family.
Okay. And that was tough on you, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Okay.
my mom went to
Well, hey,
work.
man, that's just all the more reason to be thankful for,
Sister Cammy and
Sister Kenny and Brother Paul. Never not be thankful for them.
Whenever my mom and dad argued, sometimes I'd ask them to stop and they're like, it's all because of you that we're arguing and stuff. And they'd say that. It's my dad.
Oh, I have another one. Can I
So, that's just another storm, another difficult.
Well, another one with my stepdad. When my stepdad lived with me, him and my mommy always would fight, and I'd have to take up for my mom because he would hit her.
Mm-hmm.
And so one time he broke in one time, and he was pushing her up against the wall. So I was probably around 7 or 10, and I woke up and I hit him because I was 7 or 10 and I didn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hit him out of the reason because he hit my mom.
Yeah.
And that was an anger storm that I was going through because I had it up to here and I just hit him because he just kept on hitting.
Okay.
So.
That's another storm that you went through and you've experienced and you've had to battle through. None of these things that we go through are easy.
Kidding me?
But unlike Matt, who had a warning, for the storm, in the Bible, Peter and the other disciples did not have this warning. They were just going along, and things were peaceful and things were nice, and then the storm came out of nowhere. And in this text, Jesus had just finished a week of hard work. He did a lot of different things. A few of them is he touched and he healed lepers, and he healed the Roman centurion's servant. He healed Peter's mother-in-law of a fever, and he cast out demons and healed the sick. And he did many other miracles and healings throughout the week. And I'm sure he was exhausted. He was tired. So Jesus and the disciples, they boarded the ship, and as they set sail, Jesus went to sleep, as we know. And he was asleep, and the sun went down. It began to get dark. And the thing with the Sea of Galilee, which is what they were crossing the Sea of Galilee. The thing with that, it's a small body of water. I mean, bigger than the lakes we have around, bigger than Boomer Lake or whatever. But in relation to
A small ocean.
I don't know if it was maybe something like that. I don't know
sea,
how big it
or a
was.
large sea, yeah.
But it was, in comparison to oceans, it was a small body of water. But it's going to be bigger than Boomer. Anyway, high mountains were surrounding this body of water. And so what that means is storms, they would come quick, they would come hard, and they would come without warning. And that's exactly what happened on this day. One moment, they were just cruising in the night sky, getting across the Sea of Galilee, probably roasting some s'mores or doing whatever they do. And then all of a sudden, in the blink of an eye, the storm begins and it starts raging and the winds come and, they're, like violent winds blast the ship and they don't know what to do and they're confused. Peter was probably frantic, bailing out water with one hand and telling someone to go get Jesus with the other hand. But the point is that, it came on them sudden and they didn't know what to do. And, what we can learn from this part of the story is that even disciples weather storms. And this should be the first blank in your book.
Oh, are you kidding me? I put have to face storm.
Huh?
It's okay.
Oh, well, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Weather storms.
Yeah, they have to bear the weather.
They have to get through the
Isn't weather like another like bear like earth or something?
Yeah. You have to weather the storm. You have to get through it. You have to hunker down until the storm passes. So, just like the disciples didn't have a warning, sometimes we don't have a warning. Sometimes the storm comes quick, it comes hard, and it comes without a warning.
Sometimes.
And we have to be prepared for that. We have to know that, yeah, even though I am a disciple, I might be really close to Jesus, just like the disciples in the Bible were. I'm still going to face things, I'm still going to battle through things, and there are going to be things in my life that I have to overcome.
Is persecution another storm?
It can be, yeah. If you're persecuted, then that can definitely be a storm. So, 2 questions. How has a storm that you can think of maybe caught you off guard? Maybe think of an example of when life has been going really good and then all of a sudden something happens. It might be something financially that rocks your boat, or something in your family that rocks your boat, or something. Someone give me a story of something that's happened suddenly to you.
Okay, so my grandma, we didn't expect her to die or anything, but we were gonna go, it was really good, it was a really good sunny day, and we went to go get ice cream cones from grandma, because we were gonna go eat ice cream at the park. And she's in the nursing home, and we get this call that her lungs quit, her kidneys quit, she had a kidney failure and a lung failure, and so we turn around, drive back there, and we find out that they brought a oxygen tank, not a full oxygen tank, it was empty on purpose, and she just died.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's something that you weren't really expecting. It just came and it hit you really hard. Okay. And my laptop's about to die.
Yes.
What kind of connections they have?
All right, someone else tell me a storm that has come on them suddenly.
Maybe school related.
Yeah, anything.
Not a pop quiz.
A pop quiz? Okay, I don't think a pop quiz. I mean, I guess so.
It comes all of a sudden, you know.
You're right.
That counts.
Okay, it counts. Pop quizzes count.
Right.
So, and sometimes that happens. I'm trying to think. I've heard stories of people that, life's been going good, and then boom, they get hit with something financially, and boom, they get hit with another thing.
Identity theft.
Yeah, that is very true. Identity theft was just, identity theft can rock your world. Go ahead.
You may be having sometimes like at the house whenever I'm doing school, maybe having a good morning and all of a sudden you and mom get in a big argument. It's like,
Yep.
it's not like a good day.
Yeah,
That
so
was right.
those things just happen,
Okay, how about this? Hang on.
One more, yeah.
Okay, at school, okay, so it was a good day today. I was like, all right, yes, I have no homework except I've got no homework, and it's in 6 hours, the last class of school, and she goes, all right, page 67 through 68, I want 5 notes. I mean, not 5, 10 notes on this page.
Mhm.
Like, oh man, homework.
Yeah, so that's sort of another storm.
What are you
You're right.
doing?
So, but Peter, see, he was a fisherman, right? And some of the other disciples, they were fishermen as well. And so I'm sure that they've faced storms before. I'm sure that they've, gone through these things before.
Persecution, probably. You think? Probably persecution.
Well, I mean, yeah, they went through persecution, but I'm talking about real storms here. Like, Peter, as a fisherman, went through storms, I'm sure in the Sea of Galilee and maybe other places as well. And, he panicked. All of the disciples panicked. And they didn't know what to do. Maybe this storm was worse than other storms they had been in. Not sure why they necessarily didn't know what to do.
Do you think it was something to do with Jesus or something like that?
Maybe so, because what did they do? They went and they found him asleep,
It was a test.
right? And it could very well have been a test.
Well,
And Jesus, what did they say? Jesus, we're going to drown. You've got to wake up.
oh yeah.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. You have to wake up and you have to help us. Because if you don't help us, we're not making it out of here. We are going to drown. And does anyone remember what he said to him?
Oh ye of little faith.
Oh, ye of little faith. Yeah. He basically kind of got on to him, right? He's saying, oh, ye of little faith.
In
Calm down.
PE we have assigned teams. My team's like, we're never gonna win. It's like, oh ye of little faith. Funny.
Take a chill pill.
Take a chill pill.
Nonsense.
So, what do you think? Okay, Jesus had never controlled the weather, or at least not that we're aware of in Scripture up to this point. He had never told the weather to do anything.
Yeah, I did.
So,
It's
In the Old Testament when he gave.
well, yeah, Old Testament. That wasn't the man Christ.
Think he ever flew?
Do I think he ever flew?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
That'd be
That's
cool.
probably how he got around everywhere. Just flew.
That'd probably be
He
cool.
put everyone in a big fishing net and just took them.
Identical.
Yeah. So, but up to this point that we know of, he had never, told the weather to do anything, and it happened. So, what do you guys think when the disciples went to him? What were they thinking? Were they thinking, oh, he can help us, shove some more water out? He could maybe have another idea. I don't know what they thought exactly, but they did think that Jesus could help them.
But didn't they believe he was a Messiah or something like that?
Yeah.
Because John said, the one that comes after me will be greater than me, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they knew he was the Messiah. Yeah.
Well, then how did they know he was the Son of God?
Because they didn't have enough faith. Oh, no, no.
What do you mean? They did. They believed he was God.
Then how did they not know that he could control weather?
Because they didn't have faith enough.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh.
I mean, my point is they may have thought. My point is they didn't think it. What I'm saying is they had never seen it before, so they may have not thought about him controlling the weather.
They were worried. They were trusting in him.
Yeah. So, but the point is that whatever the disciples expected Jesus to do, he was not doing it. And his seeming inactivity told him he did not care about them. Okay? This is a very important slide, and I want us to understand what this is saying. So everyone read it. It says, whatever the disciples expected Jesus to do, he was not doing it. And his seeming inactivity told them he did not care about them.
So did that mean like not active?
Yeah. So in this story, Jesus was sleeping. He wasn't seemingly paying attention to their problem. And that made the disciples stressed out and made them anxious and made them worried and fearful because, he wasn't doing anything. And so they thought, well, he must not care. He must not understand what I'm going through and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But we see that God did have a plan and he did care about him. So just because he's not doing what you want him to do, just because there seems to be inactivity in your life, does everyone know what inactivity means?
Not active.
Yeah, not active,
Not doing anything.
not doing anything.
Being lazy.
Exactly. So, and because it may seem like God is not doing anything in your life, does not mean he does not have a plan. Okay, and this is important because I'm sure as young teens, and no matter how old you get, you're going to deal with this. Of, well, I've been praying for this long, and blah, 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 and nothing has happened. At some point in your life, you may have went through some of these issues. Maybe you've prayed that God would heal a loved one, and they passed away. Or maybe you've prayed for some abuse to stop, but it didn't stop. Or maybe you prayed that your parents, they get back together because they're separated right now. And maybe they've gotten further apart after you prayed that. Or maybe you fasted and prayed about something, but it did not come to pass.
Maybe God got
as you
something
hoped.
greater.
And maybe he does have something greater. The thing is, each one of us deals with these things in our life. Each one of us goes through trials that we don't understand what God is doing. We don't understand why he seems so inactive in our life. And our next slide says, Jesus does not always answer our prayers the way we want, when we want.
Because he wants us to answer.
Exactly, but that does not mean he does not care or answer them. Sometimes it means he is giving us an opportunity to trust him to be God. The point of this lesson is to understand that as disciples, as God's chosen people, learning his word and understanding his word, each one of us goes through storms. Just because you're his disciple and you're learning about God does not mean you don't go through storms. Each one of us goes through storms, but the key is to trust God. Yes?
Small story, my grandma recently got a small case of shingles.
Mm-hmm.
So, we took her to the doctor on that day, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and God has a plan for everything that does happen in our life. And I believe that he's watching out for each one of us. Just because he might seem inactive doesn't mean he's not watching out for us. So, and it's important that we trust him no matter what. My favorite scripture in the whole Bible is Isaiah 26:3. It says, "Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee." And that fascinates me. Maybe you guys have heard my spiel about this verse before. But because it says, you can have perfect peace if you trust in God. Okay? And I believe that's talking about here on earth. I believe that you can have a perfect peace. You know, if your mind is stayed on God, right, and you trust Him, that's what the scripture says. If you keep your mind on Him and you trust Him, you can have perfect peace. Which means when, something happens in life, that doesn't bother you. You don't get stressed out. You don't get anxious. This and this doesn't happen because you're like, no matter what, God is going to work it out. Understand that. This can go along with finances as well. If you pay your tithes and your offerings and you do what God has asked, no matter what happens, okay, you will be okay financially. And just getting your mind in that mindset of, hey, I trust God. I know He knows where I'm at. And if I will just do what He's asked me to do, He is going to back me up in all things. In my finances, in my relationship, no matter what it is, He is there for me, okay? And if you can get that deep in your heart and deep in your mind, I believe that, you can't have perfect peace here on earth, where you don't get stressed out because no matter what happens, God's got me covered. Colby.
Well, I was watching this bowling thing last night. It was I believe God can actually intervene in that, because He sent this one guy to help you take up for this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I just believe if you trust Him in that situation, then He'll be God. You be yourself, and He'll be God, and He'll show up.
Absolutely. And think there is no situation. Landon, do you have a question?
No, but go ahead. I was stupid, but go ahead.
Oh yeah, you can say it.
No, go ahead. You were saying something.
Okay. I was just saying, you're right. And don't ever think, no matter what your situation is, God cannot intervene. What's his name? Caleb told me a story about some missionary, C.P. Thomas. Has anyone heard of C.P. Thomas?
Sounds familiar.
Okay. Well, he is a missionary in India, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But he is a powerful man of God, and he has seen so many things done. I'll tell you a quick story that's a little off topic, but then I'll tell you the story that's on topic. The off topic story, well actually both of them are on topic, is he was being beaten for preaching the gospel, okay? Whatever government it was, or whatever institution it was, they came, they got him, and he was being beaten, okay? And he said, God, I want to be in my own house right now, or something along that lines. He prayed that God would help him. And God actually teleported him to his house, completely healed.
Oh yeah, I think Caleb told me that one.
Yeah, Caleb probably did tell me. And so, can you imagine that? Just the vastness of God's power, that He has the ability to pick up someone where they're at, see that they're hurting, and put them, in a place where they're healed. And He healed his entire body and teleported him, or transported, whichever one it is. He teleported, okay. He teleported him from the prison that he was at to his home and completely healed him in that process.
What do you think the guards thought about that?
They was like, man, who let this guy out of here? That's just incredible. And I just can't imagine how much faith C.P. Thomas has. Because if that happened to me, man, I'd be like, man, God.
Remember that one guy?
But I believe that God did do that. And some may hear that and have doubts in their hearts, like, oh, that's just a story some old missionary made up. But I believe that God did do that. And another story about C.P. Thomas is that relates to your bullying one, but the point in this next story is that God has control of everything and everyone and every situation. C.P. Thomas was walking down the street, and this big old burly guy comes up and holds a knife to his neck. And he says, hey, I heard you baptized my wife. And, again, this is in another country, so views are different, cultures are different. And I can't remember the dialogue exactly. But C.P. Thomas just looks up at him and he says, what does he say?
I've heard this story too, but I forgot what
he says, you can't touch me unless my father says you can. And he just gets this big old grin on his face. And what does the guy with the knife do? He just takes it and he just runs off in the other direction. And then he goes home and he tells his wife, hey, I want to be baptized.
Yeah.
So that's just incredible. And it's because And that's the type of peace that I'm talking about, okay?
Faith.
C.B. Thomas has so much faith in God and trust in God that a big old man has a knife to his neck. And what does C.B. Thomas do? He smiles and he says, "You can't hurt me unless my Father says you can." And he was talking about God, obviously. But it's like, the type of faith that C.B. Thomas knew. God has everything under control, and I'm going to trust Him my whole life.
Well,
And it's important that we learn to do that too.
your first story, okay, so at family camp, this guy was preaching over, about, I don't remember what it was, but he was, in jail. They had, an iron gate, more, guards, gate.
Peter.
Yeah,
I mean, not Peter, but Paul.
Yeah, they had him, locked up so he couldn't get out. And I think Paul prayed a simple prayer, and, God, or an angel took him, through the gates and all that, so past the guards, through the gates. Do you remember that?
There's one story of Paul and Silas singing, and their chains falling off,
That's what I was talking about.
and an earthquake or whatever, the gates opening. But it wasn't like a transport type of thing. It was more of like a.
When he was telling the camp, he was talking about there was actually an angel that came in and released all the lights.
Okay.
Or it was like an angel or something.
Gotcha.
But
I didn't say specifically.
So if we get back, was someone saying something? No.
Well,
I was saying something.
I said there's no specific angels in the Bible that they relate to.
Yeah, I don't think an angel is specifically mentioned in the story.
Well,
I mean, in Peter's, an angel smote them to get up and then took him
Yeah, he
back.
smote the chains off of it.
With Peter, but not with Paul and Silas.
Oh, it was Peter. I was right the first time. Yeah, it was Peter.
Okay, but in Paul and Silas' story, that did not happen.
Yeah, I think it was Peter.
yeah, it was Peter because I remember
You're right.
he smoked. Yeah.
Okay, so glad we got that figured out. Landon.
Well, this has to do with what you're saying too, but where you're going. Can I just share my favorite scripture or whatever?
Okay.
It has to do with what you're saying. I was thinking about it. My favorite is Philippians 4:11 through 13.
Yeah, you read that yesterday.
Yeah, I read it in this prayer, but I think it's interesting because everyone always reads 13, but no one really says 11 and 12.
Okay, so what is it?
It talks about being content no matter what. It says, but I have known to be abased and abound. Basically, I've known to be struggle and not struggling, and to be where I have a lot of stuff and where I'm worried about what's going on. But he's but no matter where I am in life or what's going on, that I've learned how to be content